Good morning, everyone. This is Ramajan with What is Social Media Today, teaching you how to win the game of social media. Welcome, Jill. Today's topic is really going to be the basis of all our online marketing, okay? And I've been speaking to a lot of authors and business owners this week. There's a lot of people talking about redoing their website and, writing parts of their book. And I really felt that it was appropriate that we look at what's the basis of our marketing. And when you think of the basis of your marketing, you have to go to keywords and hashtags. And in our last webinar, Lynn so appropriately asked in the Q&A session, what's the difference between keywords and hashtags? And it's a good question. I'm sorry that she had to ask it because we did concentrate on some of this early on in our program, but it was an important question. Lynn, we're getting to your question of last week, what the difference between keywords and hashtags were. And I did give a nice little description last week that I think is going to stick with some of the people online, but it's more important than a little tongue-in-cheek answer that I tend to stick with. And I wanted to first answer the question very similarly to how I answered it last week. And when Lynn asked the question, I said, well, there's very little difference between keywords and hashtags except how they are used. Okay, now, as I've thought about this over the week, keywords tend to have the ability to be a little bit longer. They're called a long tail keyword, and we're kind of relegated to long tail keywords because of the competition online for keyword, linking essentially. And so that's one of the differences, is that a keyword tends to be more than one word, and sometimes 3 or 4 words together. And I had asked some of the authors to send me their keywords and hashtags, and when I looked at Victoria's keywords, that's when it really struck me that, I better mention that keywords have the ability or the tendency to be what's called the long tail keyword. So keywords are the words that we use to essentially describe who we are or what we're marketing. And we have to kind of search around for these keywords because there's a lot of competition. And the best way to describe it is by using myself and a simple explanation. And this is it. If you look for me, and you were to search mountain biking, you wouldn't find me. If you just searched on Sedona mountain biking, you would find me. If you search for Big Island mountain biking, you would find me. Okay, so the general and the specific. Now, keywords are the same approach, okay? There are general and specific. So when I hashtag a photo that I take, I use both hashtag mountain biking and hashtag Big Island mountain biking. Okay, so I'm mining the general and I'm also mining the specific. Okay, the reason I am doing this is I don't really expect to be found amongst the jumble of mountain biking terms, okay? But I might catch someone's eye, okay? I don't know exactly how, but I get this gut feeling that I'm very much into the mountain biking world, so I use that hashtag. I do feel that using the Big Island mountain biking hashtag really identifies me stronger with who I am. So it's more of perhaps a branding component than a general component. So, couple of things that we look for, or that I look for, okay? And I break the rules, gang. If you haven't figured this out by now, I push the envelope. And some of the things that I recommend people don't know about, and they may think that, oh, there's no documentation that supports that. Well, there's gut feel. And all of us online here operate on gut feel. So some of what I do is all about gut feel and what I see happening in the future. And, I try to be a trendsetter or an idea setter. And I think that by the use of hashtags and keywords, we're setting ourselves up to be found. Now, most of us aren't aggressive marketers. Most of us are, more what I would call passive marketers, okay? And if we're going to be passive marketers, and I know Gail and I are very much in this vein, we post, sometimes, okay? We don't necessarily post every day, and I might go a week without posting, okay? So what do I do to make those posts go somewhere, okay? Obviously, if I posted more regularly, I would have more people following, okay? That is one of those cause effects, gang. If you post more often, you will have more followers. Rule number one. But if we're not going to post more often, and as I say, most of us are what I'd call casual marketers, then it's really important for us to use our hashtags in our posting. And I've had a couple of people mention, well, I don't know if the hashtag really fits with my post. Who cares? Okay, hashtags aren't English, gang, or they're not what we think of as English. They may be English, colloquial English. I mean, we've all seen the jokes, the comedians talk in hashtag, which is kind of funny and a little bit gross, and it kind of turns people off to hashtags, and it relegates them to, a Saturday Night Live situation. But hashtags are real important. People do not talk in hashtags. They post in hashtags, okay? Now, one of the things that is obvious is that if I post to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I mention those three because that's the only place my posts go, I use the same hashtags on all three sites. I actually use the exact same post for all three sites. Okay, now I really am not paying any attention to what happens to those posts very often. I mean, sure, I do look on my Facebook and my Instagram to see how many likes I got for that picture. But, I really don't think much past that. So as I say, I'm a passive marketer, but I'm religious about using my hashtags. Why would I do that if I'm not marking anything? Why would I be using my hashtags? I am laying the foundation for marketing, okay? I am establishing a body of posting relating to hashtags. Why would I do that? Well, my theory, and this I think holds out, okay? If you attract someone's eye through a picture or a title or a hashtag, and they go to check you out, if they find that you have 5 photos they're not going to really be that interested in you. Okay, if they find that you have 500 photos, 700 videos, 3 books, you have it's like you have a track record, you have a renown, you have something. Okay, so they're going to be more likely to tell their buddy, oh, I just found this cool site about human fairies. And you should check this out because there's great stories and videos and photos of Jill dressed up as a human fairy. You have something to offer them, okay? And they found you through your hashtags, okay? That's why they're so important. If you put in hashtag Sedona mountain biking or hashtag Big Island mountain biking into Google straight up, that's your only search term, you're going to find Rama. Okay? Now, to me, that's what it's all about. Today, people aren't necessarily going to plug in hashtags into Google straight up. Okay? I think in the future this is going to be big time, okay? Essentially, people were going to go into Facebook and they're going to plug in a hashtag into the search there to find out, okay, who's doing mountain bike posting or who's doing, this or that kind of posting. And they're going to get all the people. And whether they're looking to market their product or they're just looking, hey, I'm interested in classic cars. What's going on Facebook in classic cars? Who can I talk to about this? This is my passion. So the keywords are really important, and especially Gail and Rama, when we are passive posters or passive marketers, the hashtags are even more important. Today, when we post, some of those hashtags have really no power behind them, okay? But rather quickly, hashtag Renegade Mountain Biker has over, getting on to 100 posts now. I think maybe over 100 posts. Big Island mountain biking has closing in on 200 posts. 90% of those are mine. So what I'm doing is I'm laying the breadcrumbs, and I'm laying a lot of different breadcrumbs. I'm not just using one term, okay? The Instagram app allows you to grab five hashtags rather quickly, and the other ones you have to struggle with a little bit. You have to type in more, and then it finds them, and you click on them. But it remembers the 5 last ones that you've used, and it's much easier to grab those. So 5 hashtags every post is almost a minimum. Okay, now I've kind of given you some of my hashtags, but I haven't described them specifically, okay? And after I do this, I'm going to go back a step, and then I'm going to shut off the recording, and we're going to do the Q&A. Good morning, Ashira. Good to see your name again online. I've got everyone muted right now, so we're doing our presentation. Okay, so let's talk about how hashtags are broken out. You did hear me say specific and general. Hashtag mountain biking, hashtag Big Island mountain biking. The general, the more specific. Okay, so those are, how do I say it, genre? Those are like genre hashtags. But one of the most critical and most important components of a hashtag is a branding hashtag. Jill and I have talked a lot, and it's obvious that one of her branding hashtags is hashtag human fairy, okay? Very, very great hashtag. Understand that hashtags may not be fully personal. So if Jill starts posting and using the hashtag human fairies, someone else may also do and use that hashtag, okay? And that's not a bad thing, okay? Understand that that's not a bad thing. It's probably a good thing because more than likely that person might have more followers than you have, and then you're going to attract some of their juice. Okay, so understand the hashtags, even a branding hashtags, may not be fully personal. Branding hashtag that I use right now, it's taken me 2 years of posting on Instagram until I hit it. Renegade Mountain Biker, hashtag Renegade Mountain Biker. That is my branding name. Okay, now I've used others. I've used Tropically Hip, which is a name that I use on Instagram. I think that's a great hashtag as well, but it doesn't necessarily hit, you know, maybe my marketing niche as well, because my first book is about mountain biking and my third book is about, you know, biking as well. So, you know, I want to keep into my tentacles into that genre. So using the term mountain biker is an important component in both my keywords and my hashtags. Okay, so branding hashtags, gang, have no juice today. They only have juice after you've used it and you've posted based on that. So it is an exercise in futility. Understand, internet marketing is an exercise in futility at best. If we don't use our hashtags and we don't stay on point with our keywords, then we don't stand a chance in hell of being found unless we are ultra lucky. And I am one of those ultra lucky people, so you know, I bank on that, and I think we all ought to bank on being ultra lucky. But I feel also that we're going to be broad based, and we're going to do it by the book, and we're going to take both the Catherine approach and the Rama approach, and we're going to meld it together, and we're going to have longer tentacles than we would if we did everything traditionally. Okay, we want to kind of go outside the box. We want to experiment. Hashtags are a way of experimenting. And until you actually use a hashtag and get an immediate response, it doesn't get into the gray matter in here what the heck you're doing. But it became real clear to me when I was taking sunset photos and I was using hashtag sunsets, hashtag Hawaiian sunsets. Immediately, I doubled the number of likes I got on my photos, okay, by using those hashtags. And it solidified in my mind what the heck hashtags were used for. Hashtags are there to mine customers. Okay, to mine connections. Okay, we haven't talked much about, you know, turning a connection into a customer, and we will. Okay, we will, and we'll probably have some guest speakers talk about that that are maybe a little bit more expertise than both Catherine and myself at this. Although Catherine is great about this stuff. One of the things I wanted to tell everyone, and this is a Rama tongue-in-cheek story. Okay, everything that Catherine and I have taught you, you can do yourself. And you can be successful, but you have to be like Catherine to do it and to do it on your own, okay? You have to be these highly motivated person to do it that way. And most of us aren't. Most of us are like Gail and myself. We're casual about this, you know? We're really going to go about our life, do whatever it is that we're going to do. We're going to share part of that with people, and we're going to get better at using our hashtags, okay? I use hashtags better than Catherine. She has mentioned, Rama, you use these hashtags everywhere, okay? I want all of you to follow my approach with hashtags and post with them. And they don't necessarily fit, gang. They're extra. It's like a lot of people, when they do text messages, they put in those emojis, and some people have like 10 emojis. I mean, they're basically talking in emojis. We talk in hashtags, or we post in hashtags. We don't speak in hashtags, but we post in them. Okay, now just getting back, and I really want to drive this point home so that we understand. Difference between keywords and hashtags. Keywords are used for your website and for your blogs, okay? We write about keywords. We look at trying to put keywords into the titles of our blogs. We try to put keywords, and when I say keywords, I'm really thinking one keyword per blog post, or one major keyword, okay? So, first sentence of the blog, the title of the blog, embedded in everything in your website. That is what keywords are used for. Now, I was looking at Victoria's keywords, and some of her keywords are really good hashtags, as well as keywords. So when Lynn asked me what the difference between keywords and hashtags are, and I said, well, no, they're the same. They can be. So you can have a keyword that you use as a keyword in your blogs. You can use the same keyword at the end of a blog as a signature or as a marketing component of that blog. Okay, so you have a new blog posting, and now you have to market it. So you put together a dozen, little pictures for your social media dashboard, and you have a few words with it and a bunch of hashtags. And you have a link back to the blog posting, which resides on your web page. On your web page, when they click on it, on the sidebar, you have the services that you offer. If you're an informational website, you have maybe some of the links. If you're selling books, you have your book. If you're selling services and books, you have your services and your books in the sidebar. This is another way of doing the casual marketing. Okay, they came for the blog. You want to give them the blog, but you want to provide out of the corner of their eye a look at what you are selling, so that you put it into their subconscious mind. Maybe today they're not going to click on that book, but if you capture them with your blog postings or your videos or your dragon pictures or your human fairy pictures, they're eventually going to click deeper. Okay, it's human nature. I keep on going to Jill's page, and she's got this cool series of photos with dressed as a human fairy. I'm going to click through it to see what she looks like, the dresses, the things, I mean, let's use our assets, okay? And I know that this is tough for some people, especially, when it's superficial assets, okay? How we look, what our bike is like, things like that. But let's use this stuff. I had worked with this one gal, and she was really a disappointment, okay? She was like a Catherine, okay? She was a highly motivated person. We laid out a plan for her book launch. She was going to have all these blogs in place. Book launch came, no blogs were in place. Nothing that we had talked about actually got done. And the potential was there. Okay, so the point is that we all have this huge potential. And how do we sort or get sorted out with all this, internet energy. I mean, how do we get found? I mean, we all are here. We're all struggling. Some of us care. Some of us don't. Okay, regardless of whether we care or we don't, use your darn hashtags. Let's work with both hands moving forward. And with that, gang, I am going to shut this recording off, and I'm going to disappear for a second. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to shut this recording off.